Once upon a time, there was a girl named Billie. The drawer of a morgue refrigerator slid open to reveal a body draped in a white sheet. A gloved hand pulled the sheet back to uncover the naked body of an elderly man. His eyes still open and his mouth hauntingly agape. This was me. No, not the old guy. Up there. Standing above the body was Billie. She blew the bangs of her dark hair out of her eyes. She couldn't use her gloved hands at the moment since they were, touching a cadaver. Yeah, that's me. This is the story of the first time I killed someone. I know this is all a little weird. How am I the voiceover and also the protagonist? Don't worry, you'll get used to it. I promise. Billie reached out towards a collection of scary metal tools when...
Billie, how you doing? Where are you?
In here, Clay. Clay walked down the stairs, zipping up his jacket. Clay was Billie's boss. He was nice, but also looked like he grew up in a funeral home. His hair was always unkempt, and he wore walking sneakers with khakis.
Are you staying late again?
No, I just... I can't find my necklace.
Oh.
Yeah, I could have sworn I had it on earlier, but now it's missing. Billie covered the body and slid it back into the refrigerator. She looked at the ground around her feet.
I'm sure it will turn up.
Yeah.
Well, just lock up behind you. I have a date.
Seriously? Oh, really?
I'm not sure that was better.
Sorry. With who?
Her name is Susan, and we met on OkCupid.
That's very millennial of you, Clay.
I thought so.
Well, good luck.
Thanks. Good night.
It's not that I didn't like Clay. He was fine. I just enjoyed my alone time. I had always felt more at home alone with a corpse than I did making small talk about middle-aged dating. So I spent my time with the dead, to avoid spending it with the living. Once Clay was gone, Billie was able to get to work. She stood in front of the man's body, now at a table in the center of the room. She had the scary tools to her side while she cleaned the body with a wet towel. I know it was a little weird to be a young woman who relaxed by kicking back in a mortuary. She ran the towel over the man's feet, which were curled up slightly. His skin was gray. She inserted a large suture needle into the man's mouth and poked it through the bottom of his chin. I also know that a lot of people say that they had trouble making friends in high school. But I don't think there's anyone else on the planet that... Something caught Billie's eye. What the? She grabbed a pair of tweezers and scooted closer to the man's mouth. She squinted, and she pulled the light over. She reached in behind his tongue and pulled out a key. It was crooked, knotted, and rusty. This was a first. She held the key up to the light. Billie held the key under a light in her kitchen. A furry, heavyset, and purple monster, Val, examined the key from behind thick glasses. Val's fiery orange hair was pulled tight up in a man bun. His slightly receding hairline was framed by 2 small horns. He was Billie's roommate. Oh, wait, did I mention I can see monsters yet? Sorry, I can see monsters. That's kind of important. It was one of the reasons for my lack of social life. It was really hard to date when some goblin would butt in and tell you that your Tinder match liked to take dick pics in church bathrooms. But forget I mentioned any of that. Where were we? Oh, right. My monster roommate. Val's pig nose scrunched up as he leaned in for a closer look at the rusted key.
Huh. I'm not sure. Definitely looks like us, though.
He held out his hand.
May I?
Billie dropped the key into his hand, but it phased right through his palm. They looked at the key rattling on the ground, then up at each other.
Peculiar.
A cat walked by the key and nuzzled up to Val. Billie picked up the key, Val picked up the cat. Why would it be in a human body?
No idea. But it is very strange.
Weird you can't touch it. Is it because you're level 2?
Excuse me? I'm a level 3. You know that.
Sorry. Level 3.
Level 1.
Insults. Level 2. Sniffles. I got it.
Level 2 is common afflictions.
Jesus, sorry. Billie opened the fridge. They've had this conversation before.
I have a guy you can meet?
I don't know.
Come on, you found a creepy key in a dead body.
I find a lot of creepy things in dead bodies.
Just go see my guy Evan. He lives at the DMV.
Evan?
Evitable Vehicle Automotive Nuisances.
You guys and your names.
We don't pick 'em.
I'll think about it. Did you eat my leftovers?
Sorry. You know I love lo mein.
Billie rolled her eyes. Billie stood at a casket near the front of the room. She used a lint roller on the elderly man's suit jacket, his mouth now sewn in a peaceful smile, his eyes shut forever. On his chest was a pin. It was shaped like a Gordian knot, one without a beginning or an end, a loop and a paradox. She straightened it out on his lapel. Clay peeked his head in.
The family has arrived.
Ugh, my least favorite part.
Billie grabbed her bag.
I actually have to run an errand.
Oh. Okay.
An elderly woman gingerly entered the room. She was dressed head to toe in black, and her face was obscured by a mourning veil. Billie ducked by her.
Sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Billie was out the door. Billie didn't like lying to Clay, but she didn't like dealing with grieving families more. Her own family...
You know what? We can skip this part. You don't need to hear about my family. Where were we? Oh! Yeah. Here. This part is great. Way more interesting than my tragic backstory.
Billie walked down the street with her hands stuffed in her pockets. She ran her fingertips against the rusted, crooked skeleton key. She was so numb to her abilities to see monsters around every corner that she barely noticed the little gremlin trailing behind her in the distance. By the time she got back to her own apartment, she was spent and ready to decompress. But when she entered, she found the place ransacked.
Val? Are you home?
Billie crept into the space. Someone had been there, and they were looking for something. Billie lifted her foot. Underneath her boot was some crushed cat food. Billie spun just in time to see the gremlin tearing open a pillow, spewing feathers in every direction.
Hey, what the hell, man?
Billie lunged for the pillow.
Put that down. Get! Bad gremlin!
She snatched the pillow, but the gremlin hissed.
Whoa. What are you doing?
The gremlin leaped towards Billie's pocket. She instinctively swung the pillow and knocked the gremlin back, but lost her footing in the process. She landed hard on her back. She scrambled to get up as the gremlin hissed again until it shivered, a sign it was being beckoned to its monsterly duties. It scurried out of the apartment. Billie caught her breath while she stared up at the ceiling, unsure how to process what had just happened.
Fuck. I need to go to the DMV.
Billie sat in the DMV with one earbud hanging in her ear. Next to her was a green lizardy monster, Evan. He was quite gangly and angular, like a scaled Gumby, come to think of it. He looked over the key.
Yeah, see the shape here? It's a symbol for Kismet.
Kismet?
Fate. Destiny, you know.
What does it open?
That I don't know.
Billie looked over and watched as a tiny monster knocked over a coffee cup, spilling it onto a woman. She hurried to clean it up as the monster left. Billie rolled her eyes.
Like I said, dicks.
I know a guy that can help. He's at the emergency room at Valley Presbyterian down the block.
Jesus, I don't... Never mind. Thanks for your help.
He really wouldn't mind. He's the monster of broken bones.
Oh, he doesn't have a dumb name?
No, not at that level. Wait a sec.
She thought on it for a moment.
It's cool. Thanks anyways.
She turned to leave.
Wait.
He rushed behind a counter where a DMV worker sat. Evan grabbed a book and held it out towards Billie.
What's this?
The DMV worker looked at Billie, who appeared to be talking to herself. Billie pulled the microphone on her headphone wire closer to her mouth to feign a phone conversation.
It might help.
She took the book and examined it. It was old and leather-bound. She flipped it open to pages full of drawings, diagrams, and a language full of glyphs.
It's not English.
Well, Val could read it.
Yeah, okay.
Just tell Val when you're done with it and I'll get it back from you.
Thanks.
She walked out. Billie passed random people and monsters who live in parallel worlds on the same planet.
Sorry, you're probably wondering if this was a typical day. It wasn't. Before finding the key, a lot of my days were just filled with dead people. They were much less active than monsters.
A slimy monster tripped a small child. The child cried and the monster giggled. Billie barely registered either. This was all pretty commonplace.
Like I said, monsters are everywhere, all the time. I used to be curious about them, but then I learned that if I left them alone, they generally left me alone, except for the occasional...
Billie stopped and slumped her shoulders.
Shit.
Kent, or a kobold of extreme near-talking, rushed over to her. He had goblin-like features and sported large teeth and a German accent. Kent was just the worst.
How are you?
He hovered really close to her face. She leaned back.
Good, Ken.
It's been so long. How's Val?
He's good. I gotta run.
Oh, I'll walk with you.
Okay.
They walked down the street.
I was just telling our mutual friends that we should spend more time together. I would like to know more about Hall and Oates.
The band?
I very much appreciate their use of melodies. I wanted to know if you consider them yacht rock or yacht rock adjacent. I just have never been able to ask a human.
He shivered.
Oh dear. I got to go.
Ah, damn. We were just catching up.
Sorry. Duty calls. It was great seeing you. Say hi to Val. I will be seeing you.
He ran off as Billie forced a smile and waved.
Bye, you creep.
He hooked a corner and disappeared out of sight. Billie immediately reverted back to her normal disposition.
Kent is what happened when you made small talk with the wrong monster and they realized that you were the only person that could see them. A mistake I stopped making very quickly. After that, generally, the only monsters I interacted with were friends of Val's. Sorry, I'm getting distracted again. What was I saying? Oh, right. Let me just go back to how this all started. Up until July 4th, 2014, I was a totally normal kid. Well, I was super emo, and I listened to a lot of death metal. That was actually more common than you'd think back then.
Lightning bugs floated around the head of young Billie as she watched fireworks from the grass. She wore all black, had a streak of blonde in her hair, sported heavy eyeliner, and wore large headphones. She bobbed her head to music until she spotted a cat out of the corner of her eye. She sprung up and chased after it as it scurried away.
Here, kitty kitty. God, I don't know why I just admitted to once actually saying here, kitty kitty. Anyways, as much as I hate people, I don't hate animals. I'm not a serial killer.
The cat darted behind a bush. Billie gave chase until she stopped dead in her tracks. She was face to face with Val, who was holding the cat and looked exactly the same as he does today. He checked over his shoulder.
Wait. Can you see me?
Yes?
Peculiar.
The fuck are you?
Val covered the cat's ears.
Whoa, language.
Seriously?
Sorry, humans can't see monsters. Everyone knows that.
Jesus. I'm going crazy.
No, monsters are real. Here.
He pulled out an ID card. It had his picture with the position title, Vanished Animals Liaison.
Vanished Animals Liaison?
You can call me Val.
What is a Vanished Animals Liaison?
Well, when humans lose their pets, that's me. I do that.
So...
She pointed at the cat.
Oh, no, I'm not going to kill her. I'm supposed to eat her.
And that's better?
I don't actually eat them. I'm just supposed to.
What do you do with them instead?
Back in present day, Val lounged on the couch surrounded by cats. He was playing video games. Billie entered and tossed the book down on the coffee table.
What's that? I made noodles.
Billie sat on the couch.
I need you to translate that for me.
Val tried to open the book, but couldn't touch it.
Can you...
Billie flipped open the book.
You can try again, you know.
I'll never pass. I don't have it in me.
She motioned to the cats.
Hey, if you had it in you, we wouldn't have any of them.
Val felt better. He read the first page.
I mean, there's a lot here. It's all about destiny and prophecies. And
This is stupid.
you're not even a little bit curious.
Why do you and Evan have such dumb names?
Hey,
Sorry, you know what I mean.
that's not really an apology, but...
Evan said I can go talk to the monster of broken bones.
Oh,
What?
maybe you should drop this.
Wait, why? You just said,
Listen, I know you think my world is silly, but there's a whole side of things that you don't know about.
like?
Well, I don't really know either. They don't tell us.
So the levels aren't so much how scary you are as much as they're like clearance levels?
I guess.
Why do monsters need so much bureaucracy?
Beats me. I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense for you to get to learn all of our secrets and you don't even want it.
I didn't choose this. It just happened.
Yeah, well, maybe the stupid key will let you figure out why you can see us and no one else can.
She sprung up, grabbed the book and key, and walked out.
Hey,
Look, I know it seems impossible that I hadn't considered that the key could lead me to answers about myself and my ability, but I'd given up on the why of it all years ago. Growing up, I couldn't exactly Google, why can I see monsters, without ending up in an institution. So, for years, I just had to keep it inside. Got suspended from school for fighting? Couldn't explain there was an ogre making a bully angry. Stayed out past curfew? Couldn't tell your foster parents that you were actually out chasing an imp that stole your notebook. It was hard to go to sleepovers when you were the only one who could see all the boogeymen creeping around your classmates' oblivious little heads. Not to mention the salient question of, were they actually real, or was I just going crazy?
Val hustled up to Billie.
hey, where are you going?
To the hospital.
Oh,
You're right. This might be my only chance to get to talk to a higher level. I have no choice.
okay. What if he asks I'm level 4?
Billie and Val stood near the vending machines in a waiting room. The monster of broken bones shuffled over. He was very tall, skeletal, and the least humanoid of any of the monsters Billie had ever seen. If Stephen Merchant were a monster.
Sorry about that. There was a spill on the 3rd floor.
It's fine.
The monster of broken bones touched the vending machine. A Snickers bar fell out of its slot.
Cool.
He unwrapped the bar.
So, what's going on?
I found this key.
Weird. You're in for one. You've been chosen.
Chosen? What does that mean?
He turned his back a bit from Val. Val tried to inconspicuously listen in.
Well, I'm not supposed to tell you this kind of stuff.
But you will?
Val leaned in closer.
Oh my god, he's fine. He's level 4.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. But he's with me. The fucking chosen one, apparently.
The monster of broken bones opened back up towards Val, who leaned back.
Fine. Are you absolutely sure you want to know this information?
Yes.
It will change everything.
Oh my god, if one more person mentions Destiny, I swear to god. Just tell me what I have to do.
Which is your least useful finger?
What?
I have to break your finger to tell you.
What? No. Fuck off.
He handed back the key.
Sorry.
You seriously can't tell me anything?
Not without payment. That's how this works.
That's sick shit.
I'm not sure you understand what you're dealing with here.
Let's just go.
Hold on.
She waved off Val.
Give me a second.
Billie needed air. She paced a bit until
Hey, I said relax.
Billie looked over to see a guy keeping a phone away from his girlfriend. A monster hovered over his shoulder. The monster was dark green, had reptilian eyes and a ring around their head and a gaping hole in their chest. Billie diverted her eyes. She tried to focus, but
Give it back.
Who's Jacob? Lying slut?
Billie looked over.
He's a co-worker.
The girl snatched the phone back from him.
You're fucking lying to me.
I'm not lying.
The monster touched the guy's back, making him step up towards the girl.
Hey,
Mind your business.
I was trying to.
Billie made eye contact with the monster, who smiled a mouthful of fangs.
Back off.
It's fine.
Do you have a way to get home?
Who the fuck are you?
I work here. And I'm really good friends with our big, burly security guard, Drew. He loves having a reason to break a guy's jaw.
The monster became frustrated by the guy ignoring his girlfriend. They nudged him towards her, but the guy was locked in on Billie.
Listen, chick.
The girl used the distraction as an opportunity to rush off towards her car. The monster snarled and was gone. The guy stepped up to Billie, who stood firm. She looked him up and down.
Yeah, you seem like the type to hit women.
Only ones who deserve it.
Nice map.
Fucking bitch. Mind your fucking business next time.
He stormed off before she could respond. She wiped off her face.
In case you were wondering why I usually don't deal with the living too often.
Billie stood on the curb and looked out towards the parking lot. There were various little goblins and monsters and creatures milling about. She shook her head.
Fuck this.
So, do you limit healing capabilities or just inflict?
She held out her left hand.
Pinky.
Billie!
Okay.
He took a hold of her pinky. Val couldn't bear to look as...
Fuck!
Patrons and workers turned and stared. A nurse rushed over. He was fit, strapping, had piercing eyes, and a name tag that read Dante.
Are you okay?
Yeah, shit. Fuck, ow.
What happened?
I got it caught in the machine.
He examined her hand.
You got it caught in the machine.
The monster of broken bones quickly tapped the machine.
You must really like salt and vinegar.
My favorite.
Come on, let's put a spin on this.
She looked over at Val and the monster of broken bones.
Okay.
They followed. Dante ripped the last bit of tape off a splint on Billie's finger. He looked at an x-ray.
Well, it was as clean a break as I've ever seen. Keep it elevated. Ice it if the swelling continues. 20 minutes or so. I'll be back with some paperwork and I'll get the doctor to prescribe something for the pain.
Thanks.
Are you okay?
Billie glared at the monster of broken bones.
I've been better.
I don't make the rules.
Okay, well, what was so serious that you couldn't tell me before?
I was just the first.
The first what?
Legend has it that anyone who comes across a key like this has to complete 5 sacrifices.
Or what?
They meet the monster of death.
Oh no.
Okay, so it's bullshit.
It's not bullshit.
You just literally said the phrase, legend has it.
Just because I've never encountered it doesn't mean it's bullshit.
Well, I'm not doing 5 anythings.
You don't really have a choice anymore.
What?
You let me break your finger.
I'm aware. Wait, so you knew I was signing a death pact before you broke my finger?
Of course.
So, you're an asshole.
Listen, when you get to my level, it's all about human choice. I didn't make you do anything. Your curiosity did that.
Interesting.
Yeah, great.
The key was presented to you, and you took it. You could have walked away, but once you start the 5 sacrifices, you can't just stop.
It never ceases to amaze me how afraid monsters sound.
It's because we know what's out there.
Okay.
She hopped off the examining table.
Going somewhere?
Just stretching my legs.
Okay. Well, here's your prescription and...
He shook a bag of salt and vinegar chips.
You need to take them with food.
Thanks.
She smiled. Billie wasn't really a smiler.
Shut up. I wasn't blushing. It was warm in there.
Take care, Billie.
You too, Dante.
Billie walked towards the exit. Val and the monster of broken bones were close on her tail.
He seems...
Yeah, he's fine.
Good luck.
She stopped and turned around.
Do you know why I can see monsters?
No.
Do you know how I can stop seeing monsters?
No.
Great.
She turned.
But I know someone who might.
Jesus, this is ridiculous. Let me guess. The monster of insomnia.
No. The monster of addiction.
This is so stupid. Okay. Where do we find them?
Billie gripped the wheel of her mid-2000s hatchback, her newly splinted pinky pointing towards the windshield. Val sat in the passenger seat.
So, Dante seemed nice.
Are you serious right now?
They pulled up to a red light.
I just mean, he got you the chips, and he didn't need to do that.
He was just being friendly.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, I'm not... Hey!
A tiny goblin stood outside the car and tried to get under the hood.
Hey! Stop it!
The goblin popped his head up, shocked Billie could see him. He looked at Val in the passenger seat.
Get!
The goblin rushed off with its tail between its legs.
Sorry, we don't have time.
No, it's fine.
It's just...
There'll be other cars. He'll be okay.
The light turned green and they drove off. Val and Billie stood outside of a run-down house. The lighting was poor, aside from some lightning bugs that glowed in the night.
We don't have to do this.
You heard him.
What does it matter?
Well, seeing as how it's either I do these stupid things or I die, I guess I have to do these stupid things now.
You don't have to do anything.
It's easy to say when you're immortal.
Damn.
Really? Right now?
I have to.
Okay. Meet me back here when you find it.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
He turned to leave, but turned back.
Do you really want to stop seeing us?
It's not like that.
It's okay. I get it. You didn't ask for any of this. Good luck.
Val rushed off. Billie took a deep breath and walked up to the door. She cracked open the door and entered quietly.
I can feel you judging me right now. I didn't say it was smart. Hindsight is 20/20. Just stop it.
She crept past a staircase and down a hallway on the first floor. She peered into a room. There were addicts lying on mattresses on the ground. Gaunt monsters held their heads and guided their hands on the needles. She kept moving. She pulled out her phone. She dialed 911.
You're not gonna find what you're looking for down here.
She spun to see an addict slumped on the ground against a console table. They were shrouded by darkness.
What am I looking for?
The truth.
Billie wasn't sure what to think.
The only way out is through.
Thanks.
She walked past the addict as they rubbed their face.
Upstairs.
Billie glanced towards the ceiling. She hesitated.
Bye-bye.
Billie walked back towards the front of the house. She eyed the front door. She figured she could just run for it. She stopped at the foot of the stairs. She couldn't make out what was at the top of them. She took a step. Then another. She checked behind her. She reached the top of the stairs and found a door. She reached for the handle, but... She hastily grabbed the skeleton key and tried to fit it in the lock, but there wasn't even a keyhole. Instead, there was a recess with an odd shape, similar to... no, the inverse of...
Shit.
She examined the embossed Gordian knot underneath the door handle.
Yeah, exactly. The old guy's pin.
She backed away from the door and noticed an inscription. Before you enter, look here and see. Only front and center, on my words will be. Drop to enter, drops to leave.
What the shit? Right there with you guys.
She backed away and rushed down the stairs. She looked around but didn't see Val. She thought about waiting, but instead ran to her car. Billie snuck into the funeral home. She peeked into the viewing room, but it was empty.
Clay? Good. We're alone.
She ducked back out of the room. She slunk down the hall.
Listen, I wasn't one for stealing from corpses, but this was a unique case. And I guess technically I had already kind of stolen the key from him.
Billie crept down the stairs. It was dark down there.
This place was honestly not as creepy as it seems, I promise. Okay, the cliche flickering light wasn't helping my case, but seriously, I promise.
She walked over to the refrigerator, opened it, and it was empty. She bent down to see that it was, indeed, totally empty.
Okay, that was pretty creepy.
She looked around. She was completely alone. She shut the refrigerator and walked towards the stairs. The light continued to flicker behind her. She peered up the stairwell. She shook it off and crept back up the stairs. She could barely make out anything in the funeral home. Every corner covered in shadow. Against Billie's better judgment, she walked over to the source of the sound. She reached for the door handle. She gripped the knob and...
Clay?
He wiped his face to hide the tears.
Are you okay?
Hey, yeah, of course I am. Why would I not be?
I just thought...
Clay's eyes welled up.
Oh, I should just...
Susan stood me up.
Oh, Clay, it's okay.
She rushed over and sat on the arm of his chair.
I would give anything to punch the monster of awkward consoling right in the fucking face.
I don't understand. Do you think she walked in and saw me and left? Do you think it's like you've got mail?
Sure. I mean, no. She probably got held up. Things like that happen all the time.
Yeah, you're probably right. I should text her.
No. She'll reach out.
Okay.
Billie noticed a bottle of whiskey on Clay's desk.
Have you eaten?
No, I'm doing keto. I have to wait.
Okay.
What are you doing here?
I was looking for something.
What?
My necklace, remember?
Was it a gift?
It was from my grandfather.
Oh, no. Okay, well, let's find it.
He went to stand.
No, it's okay. It'll turn up. You should probably just get some rest. I'll leave you alone.
She went to get up, but he gently grabbed her arm. A soft plea to stay. She muscled through it.
Good night, Clay.
She rushed out.
That was awkward.
She walked up to the front door and opened it, but... Val was standing outside.
Sorry.
He had a cat in his arms.
Billie? Are you okay? Was that Clay?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
She walked down the block.
Where are we going?
I don't know. The pin wasn't there.
Peculiar. Wait up.
He looked around to find a place for the new cat. Val hustled to catch up with Billie.
Maybe we can...
I need sleep.
But...
Look, I want to figure this out, but I'm not valuable to anybody like this. I didn't realize I was going to be hunting down mysterious relics from dead people. We'll sleep and start again tomorrow.
Good idea. We should get Chinese.
Not tonight.
Okay.
Sorry. Tomorrow, I promise.
Cool.
He got in too.
Hey, buddy. Do you need anything?
Billie walked into her room without a word.
Dealing with living people things is exhausting.
She was out like a light. Young Billie leaned against the window in the backseat of a car. She had her headphones on. Her dad was driving, and her mom was riding shotgun.
Billie?
Billie was distracted by her emo music.
Billie?
Billie was frustratingly oblivious.
Billie, your father's talking to you.
She snapped out of it. She pulled her headphone off her ear a bit.
Yeah?
We're gonna stop for ice cream.
Okay.
She put her headphones back on. They headed towards an intersection. Billie didn't have a care in the world. They drove through the intersection with ease and parked at the ice cream shop. Billie opened the door, but instead of being near an ice cream shop, fully grown Billie was now near a lake. She looked around. Her parents were nowhere to be found. Lightning bugs fluttered nearby. She walked down a trail towards the lake. Through the trees and in the distance, she spotted her mom down on the pier.
Mom?
Her mom couldn't hear her. She dove off the pier and into the lake. Billie continued down towards the lake, where her father was on the shore fussing with a beach ball near a tent.
Ben!
Just a second.
Ben! There's a...
Her dad turned.
Honey?
Billie never got a great look at him up close. He rushed over to the water. He didn't see his wife.
Honey? Honey?
He turned and shouted towards the tent.
Billie, baby, stay right there.
He dove in after his wife. Silence. Billie walked over to the tent, revealing it was empty. She turned and walked down the pier, and at the end of it was the pin. Billie picked it up and looked at the lake, which was swirling violently. The pier collapsed under her feet until... Billie was frozen with sleep paralysis. The light on the ceiling swayed with the branches from outside the window. Her breathing heavied.
Val.
Nothing.
Val.
Billie's eyes scanned the room. She tried to move her fingers. Nothing.
Val.
She stared at the shadows of the swaying branches. It felt like she was being watched.
Hello?
Silence.
If you're here, just show yourself.
She could finally wiggle her toes a bit.
What do you want from me?
No answer. Her finger twitched a bit until she jolted upright. She shook off the frozen feeling. Her skin crawled. She looked around the room. It was empty. She looked over the edge of the bed.
You would think I wouldn't be afraid of monsters under the bed at this point in my life, but it's scarier when you know they're real.
She ripped up the covers. There was nothing underneath the bed, aside from dust. She laughed at herself a bit. She got out of bed and walked over to the door. She cracked it open to see Val, asleep on the couch, with a few cats roaming around him.
I know I look dumb. I wouldn't be telling you this part if I didn't know I look dumb. Forget it.
Billie dropped back into bed. She stared at the shadows dancing on the ceiling and closed her eyes. Billie groggily opened her eyes.
Oh, shit. Hey, Clay.
Billie, where's Mr. Dimitropoulos?
What?
He's not here. Did you move him?
Are you fucking with me?
No, he's not here. We're supposed to do the viewing.
Okay, calm down.
I called the police. They want to speak with you.
What?
Nothing else is missing. Do you think he was involved in crime?
No, I don't think Mr. Dimitropoulos was involved in crime. What do you mean you called the police?
I didn't know what else to do. They told me to tell you to go to the station on Viewpoint to talk to them.
Why would I need to talk to them?
Because you were here last night.
You told them I was there last night?
Yes. Was he still here last night? When you looked for your necklace?
I didn't check. They usually don't move on their own, Clay.
Right. Sorry.
Look, I gotta go, I guess. I'll talk to you later.
She tossed her phone down.
Fuck.
Billie sat in an office. She could see the precinct through the blinds on the window. She rolled her eyes as a monster scurried by.
Good morning.
The cop tossed a file down and leaned against a desk.
Why do they always lean like that? Do they think it makes them look cool? Hi.
So, we have a unique missing persons on our hand here.
I guess.
What happened to the body?
I don't know.
Oh, do bodies go missing often? Are you sure he was dead?
I hope so. Otherwise, that autopsy was unnecessary.
Dark joke. I guess that helps in your profession, huh?
Sometimes.
So no idea.
No.
So your official story is that a dead man walked out of your morgue?
My official story is I don't know what happened to the body.
Your boss said you were there after hours.
Did he also say that he was drunk?
Your boss was drunk?
Shit. Shouldn't have said that. I hate cops. I mean, I think he had a drink or two. I think he had a date.
You talked?
I ran into him while I was leaving.
Looking for your necklace, right?
Yes.
How long have you worked at the funeral home?
I don't know, 5 or 6 years. Is this really necessary? Is the wife pressing charges?
Not that I'm aware of.
Look, I don't know why someone would want to steal a body from our home, but I didn't have anything to do with it. And I don't think Clay would have done anything like that either.
Is Clay a good boss?
Yes.
Are you close?
As close as a normal boss and a normal employee can be.
So he has never done anything to make you suspect?
No, he's a good person. He cares about the people we do viewings for. He called you, right?
That's true.
She looked Billie up and down for a beat, then stood up.
Okay. Well, if you think of anything, here's my card.
I can go?
Yes. I'll be in touch.
Do you want to talk about it?
Not really.
Where are we going?
A place I haven't been in a really long time.
Val knew not to push. Billie got out of the car with a purpose. Val followed suit. Lightning bugs floated nearby.
What is this place?
Somewhere happy families go.
She walked down the pier. At the end of it was the pin. It sat there, just taunting her. Billie scoffed and picked it up. She looked at the water. It was perfectly still.
How did that get here?
Someone was clearly trying to send me a message.
What message?
Who fucking knows?
Billie looked around. Nothing stood out as important.
How'd you know where to go?
I saw this in my dream.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't know what it means.
She looked down at her feet and at the pier underneath. It didn't crumble beneath her. Her chest filled with anger, and she turned towards the lake.
Do you want to just get this over with? Because I don't need your sacrifices. Or your riddles. Or your fucking curse.
There was nothing. She stormed back towards the car. Val hurried behind her.
Wait up! What's going on?
Listen, I know you have a lot of questions, but you clearly haven't noticed. I don't know anything either. Ugh!
Val tried not to make a peep until...
Put on whatever you want.
Val brightened up.
Thanks.
He scanned the radio for something good.
I know this is frustrating for you two. Just wish I was a better monster.
You're a good monster. This is different.
How so?
Because this is death. He's taunting me.
Why would he be... That's interesting.
My parents died at that lake.
Oh. Billie, I'm sorry.
He began to tear up.
It's fine. I was very young. I don't really remember them. They're just kind of shadows.
How come you never...
It's whatever. It happens to people all the time, but it really fucking pissed me off that we had to go there for this stupid pin.
I don't understand what the pin has to do with your parents' death.
Yeah, me either. But the sooner I can get this shit over with, the sooner I can get back to normal.
Yeah.
Billie and Val stood in front of the mysterious door.
Only front and center, on my words will be, drop to enter, drops to leave. What do you think it means?
Who cares? Just put the pin in the hole.
Val put the pin in the hole. Nothing happened. Billie bent down.
What? Well, what do you think it means?
He thought about it.
Before you enter, look here and see, only front and center, on my words will be, drop to enter, drops to leave. Blood! It's blood!
What?
Val pointed to the first letter in each line, which did indeed spell out B-L-O-O-D.
That's stupid. Give me the pin.
He handed it over. She pricked her finger. A drop of blood bubbled out. She rubbed the blood into the hole and placed the pin inside. She grabbed the knob, turned, and... With one last shared look, they stepped through. Billie and Val walked into a dark drug den. There were addicts lying all along a path that led to a pedestal under a single light. On the pedestal laid the monster of addiction. She was pale, had sharp cheekbones, and had curved, ram-like horns that led out of her eye sockets. She seemed to be meditating. She rolled her head back and forth towards the light. Billie took a step, but Val grabbed her arm.
I don't...
It's this or death.
Are we sure this isn't death?
Yeah.
Billie walked up to the monster of addiction. Her voice scratched out of her throat.
You have something for me.
She reached her long arm out towards Billie. She opened her palm. Billie reached out to place the pin into the monster of addiction's hand when she snatched her wrist.
Hey! No!
Billie tried to pull back, but the monster of addiction pulled her close. She sucked on her fingertip. Billie pushed against her face.
Off me!
She snapped her head and her horn smacked Billie in the chest. Val rushed over.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
She dusted herself off.
Thank you.
Fuck you.
Don't.
Do you know why I can see monsters?
The monster of addiction shook her head.
Do you know why this pin was at the lake?
The monster of addiction shook her head.
Do you know where I can find the monster of death?
The monster of addiction shook her head.
What do you know?
You need to make a sacrifice.
Was blowing my finger not part of the sacrifice?
Drop to enter, drops to lead.
How many drops to leave?
Thousands.
Fuck this. And then what? You tell me some other vague bullshit clue that leads me to another ugly monster and so on and so forth?
You'd be wise to control your human.
Oh,
You think I'm his human? Don't you think it's weird that I can see you?
I've met others before.
This caught Billie off guard.
There are others?
The monster of addiction nodded.
Who?
No one special. They come and go. They bleed.
She motioned to the addicts writhing on the ground.
Just like all of them.
How do I do the sacrifice?
The monster of addiction lashed out and slashed Billie's forearm.
Oh my god, Billie!
Billie put pressure on her arm.
Stay calm. Jesus, you didn't need to do that.
The monster of addiction rolled her head back and forth.
I'm fine.
Blood poured out from between Billie's fingers. Val picked her up and raced towards the door.
You said drops to leave.
Not yet.
How much more? She's gonna die.
I can stop it.
So do it.
It has to be her.
Billie, I need you to tell her to stop it.
Billie's eyes rolled back.
Billie, I need you to tell her.
He carried Billie towards the monster of addiction.
Stop.
Okay.
In an instant, the monster of addiction was hunched over Billie.
Jesus!
Val was knocked on his ass nearby. It was inhumanly quick. The monster of addiction finished feeding and was back on her pedestal in a blink.
Can we go?
Yes.
Are you okay?
Billie groaned. She had lost a lot of blood.
Let's go.
You'll need these.
The monster of addiction tossed Val a small baggie of white pills. Val shoved them into Billie's pocket. He dragged her out, but not before he eyed an addict, ODing on a nearby mattress. He ran around to the passenger seat.
It's gonna be okay, Billie. Should have paid attention when you drive. Oh, thank God. Okay, we're good.
He pushed the gas pedal with one hand and steered with the other. The car rolled up in front of the entrance of the hospital. It stopped hard. Val got out of the car, ran around, and pulled Billie out.
Billie, I really need you to look like you're doing this on your own right now.
Val helped Billie walk into the hospital. Dante was at the reception desk. He saw Billie appearing to awkwardly shuffle in on her own.
Oh my God.
He rushed over.
Are you okay?
Val let go of Billie, who fell into Dante's arms.
Hey, can I get some help here?
Billie woke up. She followed the IV's tubes from her arm to the bag of blood hanging nearby.
Hey,
Hey, what happened?
you almost died is what happened.
Hey, you're awake. How are you feeling?
Been better.
You having quite the week.
Yeah, you could say that. Lucky you were working again.
Yeah. What happened?
I was, attacked.
Attacked?
I was, walking to my car, and a deer, or something, came rushing towards me, and it knocked me down, and I guess, gashed my arm.
A deer.
A moose? I don't know what, it had horns.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you lost a lot of blood. I've honestly never seen a wound like the one you had. It had such precision, almost surgical. But it was like vicious.
Vicious?
Yeah, like it felt targeted.
Just my luck.
Yeah. Well, you were lucky to get here when you did. Any longer and you would have.
Yeah. So?
You know, they'll probably want to keep you overnight for monitoring.
Great.
Well, let me see what I can do. Maybe I can get them to release you if you don't want to be here.
Thanks.
Yeah. But if you feel lightheaded or something, you should have someone to make sure you're okay. Or someone you can call. Here. Just in case.
Thanks.
Yeah. Let me go ask for you.
Val was beaming.
Shut up.
I didn't say anything.
I know, but I can just feel it.
I don't know what you're feeling.
Where do we have to go?
What?
Where did the monster of addiction say the next clue is? She did say, right?
Well, we were in such a rush to leave that...
Jesus, does that mean I almost died for nothing?
Your pocket.
What?
Check your pocket.
Okay.
She reached into her pocket and pulled out the baggie of pills. She turned it over and examined the printed symbol of the sole of a foot.
What is this?
She said you'll need those.
This riddle shit needs to stop.
What's the foot mean?
I don't know.
She looked closer at the symbol.
I know I've seen this symbol before.
Maybe you'll have another vision.
I hope not. What does a foot have to do with drugs?
Well, it's not the last place, it's the next place, right?
Yeah.
Peculiar.
There's not a monster of foot fetishes, is there?
That's rude.
Sorry.
I mean, technically there's a... Never mind.
Good news. They said you can go, but they suggest you have someone come pick you up. Do you have someone you can call?
Yeah. Thanks, Dante.
Billie was driving on her own while Val rode shotgun.
Did you know there were others?
I'm starting to think I don't know much of anything anymore.
Billie exhaled to calm herself.
I used to think my curiosity about humans set me apart from the other monsters that only focused on their purpose. Like it made me special. Now I just realize it makes me a loser like Kent.
Hey, you're nothing like Kent. Except for maybe liking Hollow Notes.
They shared a smile.
There's only 3 sacrifices left.
She eyed her broken pinky and bandaged arm.
Yeah, because everything's gone great so far.
We'll just be more cautious moving forward.
I wonder if there's like a time limit with this kind of stuff.
I would assume the monster of death wants payment pretty quickly, right?
Great.
She pulled the car into a parking lot.
Chinese?
The blood loss is making me feel lightheaded.
Can't we go to the other place? Their romaine tastes like feet.
You know what feet taste like?
You know what I mean.
I honestly don't. Plus, the other place is all the way on the other side of town.
Billie!
What?
Val pointed across the street to another mini-mall. Billie held the drugs up towards a neon sign for a foot massage parlor. The symbol on the package matched the sign.
Weird.
Oh my god.
What?
Maybe me wanting Chinese was like premonition.
I don't think that's how it works.
Oh, what? So you can have visions, but I can't have premonitions?
You're right. Your stomach led us here. To a massage parlor.
Fascinating.
This has got to be a front for something, right?
I guess. You sure you want to do this?
Well, I wanted to get food first, but here we are. If we survive, we'll go to the other Chinese joint.
Okay.
Billie and Val walked into the parlor. There was a line of doors along one wall and a desk with a woman sitting behind it. A shady man sat in a nearby chair. He checked out Billie, who ignored him.
Hello. Welcome to Heaven's Bliss.
Hi.
The woman eyed Val for a second, then diverted her gaze back to Billie.
Did
I just what?
Nothing. Can I see what specials you offer?
Of course.
She totally looked at Val, by the way. Oh, yes. Voiceover Billie, still here.
She pulled out a laminated menu and handed it to Billie.
Well, it's a massage parlor, but there has to be something unusual they offer.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Are you looking for something in particular?
You could say that. Do you offer anything with, like, I don't know, infused diamonds or something?
Diamonds?
Yeah. Something flavor of the week?
I think I know just the thing. Follow me.
She stood up and walked down the hall. Billie and Val followed. They shared a few quick, nervous glances. Billie snuck a peek in a room where a man was zipping up his pants. The woman stopped at a door at the end of the hallway.
This way.
She held the door open long enough for Val to walk through too. Billie hopped onto the massage table. She started to say something to Val, but then realized the woman was still in the doorway.
Do I have to pay first?
Yes, actually.
The woman stared at Billie and then at Val.
Oh no.
Told you. You can see him?
Of course.
Holy shit. There are others.
There are others like you, yes.
You mean like us, right?
No. We are not the same.
But you can see him.
I'm sorry. Let me give you a proper introduction.
The woman's jaw fell off. Large fangs sprouted out from where her clavicle and nasal tip once were, meeting in the middle to form a grin.
Oh god.
Holy shit. When the woman was done transforming, she was haunting. She had 8 compound eyes all around her head, much like a spider.
I'm the monster of Deviance.
Charmed.
Billie.
It's fine. I like her.
She smiled and examined Billie with all her eyes.
How did you do that? How can you change what you look like? Does that mean other people can see you?
Of course.
This was news to Billie.
But
you have much to learn. Maybe you're not like the others.
The ones that are actually like me?
Yes.
Did you know monsters could take a human form?
He was embarrassed.
It's not his purpose to know that.
What is his purpose?
To eat cats.
And mine?
To complete your sacrifices for the monster of death.
And then?
It's my purpose to know that.
Fucking monsters, man. Okay, is there a riddle I have to solve?
You're very comfortable around monsters.
Yeah, years of practice.
Better not let that get the better of you one day.
Thanks.
There's no riddle, only a choice.
About what?
Follow me.
Billie hopped off the table.
Your purpose is more than cats, you know.
Thanks.
He grabbed her hand.
Let's do it.
They followed the monster of Deviance down the hall and through a curtain at the end of it. They entered another room. There were 2 doors opposite the curtain.
Oh, wow. I honestly wasn't expecting a what's behind door number 3 kind of deal.
There's no door number 3.
No, yeah.
Behind each door is a different man. You must sleep with one of them to continue your journey.
Seriously. You know, all things considered, this isn't the worst thing I've had to do today. Spoke too soon.
The monster of Deviance waved her claws and the 2 doors swung open. Through each was another place. They were portals.
Peculiar.
This week.
One man is married, the other, familiar.
Familiar?
Billie took a step towards the second door.
Can they see us?
No.
She peered into the darkness and saw Clay curled up on a couch. She hopped back.
Whoa, no fucking way. It's Clay.
Oh dear.
Who's the married man?
Should it matter?
Yeah, kinda.
Billie, there has to be another way.
She said there was no door number
Billie reached into her pocket and pulled out the pills. She looked them over.
What is it?
Maybe I'm supposed to roofie Clay.
Oh dear.
The monster of addiction told you I'd need these, right?
Yes?
Billie looked over to the monster of Deviance.
Are you allowed to give me a hint?
It's your choice. Others have faced the same.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of the people working for you have had to fuck married guys.
The monster of Deviance smiled.
Are these roofies?
The monster of Deviance didn't react.
Think.
Billie, there must be something you're not thinking about.
I don't think that's what's happening here.
What do you mean?
This isn't some kind of fender bender or spilled coffee kind of shit. This is... Sorry, what's your name again?
The monster of Deviance.
Yeah, thanks. This is about the evil behind the action. That's the point. That's what they want.
Val looked over to the monster of Deviance. He knew Billie was right.
I always wanted to know as much as I could about the levels above me. It never occurred to me what they'd be like.
Well, lesser of 2 evils then.
She pocketed the pills.
I can't do that to Clay. Let's go meet this married guy.
Follow me.
The monster of Deviance walked through the door.
Ready?
Whatever, man. Let's do this.
Billie, Val, and the monster of Deviance walked into the bar from a closet door. The monster of Deviance was in her human form. Billie walked up to the married man who was sitting at the bar. He was fairly handsome, but seemed quite inebriated. She sat next to him. He looked her up and down.
What happened to your arm?
I had an accident.
Did you fall from heaven?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Billie looked over to the monster of Deviance.
Can I just fuck Clay?
Billie.
The monster of Deviance smirked.
I'm not serious.
Okay.
Are you gonna buy me a drink?
What are you having?
Beer and a shot.
That's 2 drinks.
I'll get drunk quicker.
I like your style.
He tried to wave down the bartender. Billie shook her head and scanned the bar. She looked towards the entrance when Dante entered with a group of friends.
Shit.
Oh no.
The monster of Deviance, who was flirting with the lady at the bar, turned and saw Dante.
I like him.
So does she.
Dante clocked Billie, excused himself from his friends, and walked over to her.
Hey,
Hey.
I didn't think I'd be seeing you again.
Didn't think I'd be getting hurt anymore?
No, because my shift is over.
Billie smirked.
Yeah, well, it's been a long week.
All the gin joints, right?
It's a very small town.
True. But you shouldn't be drinking in your condition.
The bartender slid Billie her shot and beer. She quickly downed the shot.
Yeah, well, you probably shouldn't be giving your number out to patients when you're married.
She motioned to his ring. He pulled his hand back.
I mean, I can't wear it during work.
I get it.
Dude, you full of shit.
Excuse me?
Dude, you're married too.
The married man looked at his ringless hand.
How'd you know that?
Lucky guess. Thanks for the drinks.
Billie grabbed her beer and walked away, past Dante. The married man sprung up, but Val stuck out his foot and...
Oh.
Hey, I can explain.
You have nothing to explain.
My wife and I are separated.
Is that true?
Yes,
So why are you wearing the ring?
because I'm still technically married.
Billie rolled her eyes. But then,
Hang on.
she blew right past him again, stepping over the married man and over to the monster of Deviance.
Does it have to be that married man or a married man?
I like you.
I'm not sure that's a compliment.
She walked away as the monster of Deviance turned her attention back towards the lady at the bar.
Billie, stop.
Dude, a minute ago you wanted to fuck him.
She walked up to Dante, grabbed his wrist, and pulled him through the crowd.
Whoa, hey, where are we going?
Just shut up.
Dante and Billie entered the bathroom. It was gross, like many bar bathrooms tend to be.
Yo, can we just...
They kissed. Dante lifted her onto the sink and began unbuttoning her pants.
Do you want to talk about it?
Nope.
Okay. Where are we going?
A prison.
Oh,
2 more sacrifices, and I'm done.
you don't want to try and sleep again?
No. I want this to be over.
Billie and Val walked up to a corrections officer at a desk. Billie examined their face to see if they acknowledged Val, but they didn't.
Can I help you? I'm here to visit a prisoner. His name is Ruben Cabalas. 19555-296.
Have a seat over there.
Billie sat down. Another guard walked over.
You here to see Cabalas?
Yeah.
He glanced over at the officer at the desk, who wasn't watching.
Come with me.
Billie and Val followed him.
All right. Empty your pockets.
Billie dropped her keys, including the one from the body, phone, wallet, and the Gordian knot pin into a tray. She looked up at the guard. He didn't seem concerned.
You'll get these back when you're done.
He led them over to a restricted door.
In here.
Here?
Yeah, in here. Knock 3 times when you're done.
Okay.
It was pitch black inside. She inhaled deep and stepped into the hole. She tried to adjust her eyes.
Excuse me.
Hello, Billie.
The hairs on Billie's neck stood up. She turned slowly.
Hello?
There was just a set of glowing eyes in the darkness. They were unblinking. This was the monster of vengeance.
I'm impressed you made it this far. Didn't think you had it in you.
I have always lived to exceed people's expectations.
Clever girl. Your cleverness won't serve you here.
What will?
Me.
You're going to serve me?
As long as you do what I say.
That doesn't feel like you're serving me.
Enough cleverness.
What do I have to do?
Take out the pills.
She uncomfortably pulled out the bag of pills from her vagina. She had muled them in.
Here.
Give them to the guard.
That's it?
That's it. Cabales will have what you need on him.
What do I need from him?
You'll see it.
But...
The monster of vengeance was done answering questions. Light poured in, and Billie was able to catch a glimpse of the monster of vengeance as he slunk further back.
Trust me, it's better if I don't describe him.
Billie reached out and shook the guard's hand.
Thank you.
He palmed the pills.
This way.
What happened?
Billie shook her head as if to say, drop it. Billie and Val sat at a table in the prison's visiting room. There were families and prisoners meeting at various tables.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Then wait outside.
I'm just worried you're going down a bad path.
Thank you, Val. I hadn't noticed that while we're surrounded by fucking prisoners.
I'm sorry I got you into this.
What?
I got you into this. I should have just left the key alone, but I wanted to know more about monsters too.
I get it. We're both orphans, basically.
Yeah. 2 more sacrifices.
2 more sacrifices.
Cabales lumbered towards the table. He was mean-looking, muscular, and tatted from head to toe. He stared at Billie as he sat.
Who the fuck are you?
I want to know the same about you.
The fuck is that supposed to mean?
Billie examined his tattoos. On his shoulder was a map.
What's the map to?
What?
On your arm.
What's it to you, bitch?
Billie tried not to seem scared. She scanned the room full of other prisoners. One mean prisoner in particular was staring right at her. He snarled.
I can help you. I'm a lawyer.
You're a lawyer.
Billie looked down at her disheveled appearance.
Yeah, today's my day off. I was...
Oh, Jesus!
Blood sprayed out at Billie as Cabales was shivved in the neck by the mean prisoner. Billie fell back off her chair. People scattered everywhere. Cabales squirmed under the table as he tried to stop the blood from pouring out of his neck. The shiv clanked to the ground near Billie. She looked at his shoulder and grabbed the shiv.
Sorry.
She carved into his arm. He tried to fight, but he was losing consciousness. She cut the map off and shoved it into her shirt as officers in riot gear pulled her from under the table.
Ma'am, are you okay? Are you hurt?
I'm okay.
They pulled her out of the room. She was drenched in blood.
This was not my proudest moment, but I had no other choice. Sorry, I didn't warn you. I promise I'll warn you next time.
Billie showered the blood off herself. She had the chunk of Cabales' arm in her hand. She cleaned it off and examined it under the water.
They were nice enough to let me shower after I answered a bunch of questions about what happened. I told them I wanted to meet Cabales after I heard about his case on a podcast. They bought it. They killed that other guy, but I think that was the monster of vengeance's plan the whole time.
She traced a path on the map.
How you doing?
I'm fine. I think I know where this is showing me.
Billie and Val stood outside of a Victorian-style house. Billie was in new, ill-fitting clothes.
What is this place?
I think I lived here once.
What?
It was before I met my permanent foster family. It was only for a couple of days.
That's heavy.
I guess this is fate.
They looked at each other.
One more.
Billie walked up the stairs and... Standing in the doorway was the elderly widow from the funeral home.
Hello, Billie. It's okay. You don't remember me. We only met very briefly once when you were young and once when I was very old.
She smiled. She radiated an incredible warmth.
I'm Delphi. I take it you still have my pin?
Billie pulled the pin from her pocket and held it up. Delphi reached for it, but Billie pulled it back.
Why was it at the lake?
Oh, we can discuss that inside.
Billie relented and handed it over. Delphi started to walk in, and Billie and Val began to follow.
I'm sorry, Val. This is where the journey ends for you.
But...
Can I wait out here?
Of course.
Delphi walked in. Billie looked at Val as he took a seat on the front steps. She sat next to him.
You know, I never thanked you for something.
What's that?
When I first started seeing all of your world. I really wondered if I was losing my mind. But you kept me tethered to reality. Or at least my new version of reality. You became my North Star. And you were the only thing I was sure of anymore.
Val smiled through the sadness.
When I said...
You don't have to say it. I understand.
But...
He took her hand in his big furry one.
You know, just because you can't see us doesn't mean we won't still be there.
Billie hadn't thought about it like that.
So if my Chinese food goes missing...
You know I love lo mein.
They hugged for what felt like the last time.
I'll be here when you get out.
Billie walked into an ornate sitting room. Delphi sat in front of a coffee table with a tea set on it. There was a large black door on one wall, a monolith among knickknacks.
Have a seat.
Are you a monster?
No, dear. I'm just an old woman.
No, I meant...
I cannot shapeshift, no. Do you take sugar?
It's fine.
I'm sorry about your finger.
Why did Death put the pin at the lake? Was it a threat? To make me show up?
No, of course not. Death is an inevitable part of life, Billie. You can't bury it deep down inside of you. You would have met eventually, whether you followed your path or not.
Why were you at the lake when my parents died?
To make sure you were okay. That's why I brought you here.
But then you let me go into foster care?
It wasn't my place to raise you, but I needed to make sure you were safe.
Is there a difference?
Perhaps not enough of one.
Who are you, exactly?
Think of me as a secretary.
She handed her the tea.
A secretary for Death?
Emphasis on the secret part.
Billie couldn't help but chuckle. Gallows humor at work.
How did you end up the secretary for Death?
That's another story for another time.
Okay. Am I in danger here?
I don't believe so.
That's not really reassuring.
Death doesn't want to hurt you.
So do you know why I'm here? Why I can see monsters?
I know it seems complicated, but I assure you there's an explanation for everything.
Which is?
You still have a sacrifice to give.
Of course.
Billie looked at the large black door to her side.
Before you go, I need you to answer a question.
Okay.
What is your first memory of Death? Take your time.
I guess it was at the lake.
Are you sure about that?
No. Yes.
Your parents died when you were 6.
It was clear Delphi already knew everything about Billie.
Yeah.
You have no memory of Death before that?
I guess the first time I understood what death was when I was 4.
Right.
It was the 4th of July, and we were watching fireworks. And I saw a lightning bug fly by. I chased it down and I caught it, and then I crushed it in my hand. And I just watched as the yellow light that was smeared across my palm slowly faded and went dark.
I think you're ready for the final sacrifice.
That's it?
For now, yes.
But why did I have to?
Are you ready?
It wasn't really a question. Billie steeled herself.
Yes.
It's through that door.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. You guys should get a sign.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Billie pulled out the key from her pocket. She leaned down towards the keyhole. She turned back to Delphi.
I'm sorry about your husband.
Don't be. It was his time.
Billie nodded and turned towards the door, but then turned back.
What'd you do with the body?
I told the police that I took it back for a proper burial.
And they're okay with that?
I'm a very old woman, dear. And they hate paperwork.
They shared a smile.
I kind of miss her.
Billie gripped the key. Billie looked back at Delphi and the sitting room one last time. Inside was a long black hallway that appeared to be covered in oil. Billie closed the door as she looked at Delphi's smiling face. Billie walked down the hall until it opened up into a room that was covered with the same oil. There was a table, a candle, and an hourglass filled with black liquid that was draining upwards. Behind the table was a chair facing the other direction.
Hello?
The chair turned and revealed.
Hello, dear.
Delphi?
Billie stood in front of Delphi, shocked.
Delphi, how is it? I don't understand.
Delphi labored to her feet.
I told you I'm not a shapeshifter.
But then what am I...
They can never know.
Who?
Not even Val.
Delphi, what's going on?
Since humankind has existed, there's been death, wars, famine, plague.
Yeah, so?
And there's always been a person to control it.
Billie scoffed slightly at the notion.
Monsters are horrible things. They feed off hate, greed, pain. But they don't understand death. They can't. You crushing a bug in your hand gave you more knowledge than any monster that has ever existed.
But then where...
When you were a teenager, I was ready to give this all up. I was ready to go and face whatever is next.
Which is why I started to see them.
I thought about doing it when you were here the first time, but I couldn't do that to you. You were so young. You weren't ready. And I wasn't ready to stop living, frankly. So I watched you go to a decent home with decent people and waited. And then on the 4th, I should have done it then. I'm sorry I left you in the dark for so long. It was supposed to be a fast process. I would leave you the key, and you would follow more or less the same steps that led you here. Just like the others before you. Just like I did.
Billie fought back the grief building in her chest. But soon enough, that grief gave way to a seething anger.
So you let me question my sanity? My entire existence, what? Because you wanted more time?
Yes. It was indefensible. I was human, fallible. I made a decision with my heart, and it cost my husband and I so much pain, so much suffering.
You let him live.
His time came. I couldn't do it. He begged me for years. I couldn't bear to live without him. We'd been married for 60 years, and I wasn't ready. The job of death is a cold one. There mustn't be any emotions involved.
Why wouldn't you just...
No answers will make up the time you lost. The time I took from you. I'm sorry I did that to you, Billie.
I can't be death.
You have no choice, my dear. Only one of us is allowed to leave this room.
What?
The last sacrifice is me.
Billie's world spun.
Yeah, right there with you guys. You?
You have to kill me to take your place.
I can't kill anyone. I just deal with dead people, okay? I don't kill them.
Dear, people have been dying this whole time.
Billie didn't buy it.
I want you to touch that hourglass.
Okay.
Billie walked over and reached out her hand, but...
This isn't gonna be...
It won't hurt you.
Okay.
When she made contact, there was a... Dante rushed over to help Billie with her finger.
Are you okay?
A light blinked behind the desk, unnoticed. An overdosing addict took their last breath on a bed as Val and Billie exited the den. Dante walked into his house drunk. He stumbled into a bedroom loudly. After a moment, his wife walked out of the darkness and entered behind him, followed by the glowing eyes of the monster of vengeance. The guard from the prison handed the mean prisoner a shiv through the bars of his cell.
Oh no.
They are the sacrifices.
Jesus Christ.
Billie seemed like she might topple over. Delphi walked around the table and looked her in the eyes.
You saved your friend Clay's life. Let that be the last time your own feelings make a decision for you.
I need to lie down.
We need to begin.
Delphi lied down on the table.
Begin what?
The ritual. Be gentle. If you can.
Billie wanted to leave, but she knew she couldn't. She walked up to Delphi on the table.
I need to know something first.
It wasn't personal. Their death was not a part of your journey. Their fate was determined long before you were born. It was their time to go. It's not up to me on an individual level.
Except when it is.
I am simply doing what needs to be done. It's the balance of the universe.
Just following orders.
In a way, yes. It's a mistake you can never make. You too will have to take from the people you love. The monsters all play their part. And now, so will you.
Billie understood.
Did they? There was no pain. The body protects itself from pain in the end.
Billie wasn't sure about that.
Why me?
You'll understand when the time comes for you to be the one on this table.
The thought of that hit Billie like a sledgehammer to the solar plexus. She shook it off as best she could.
Enough questions.
Okay.
Shall we?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I am too, dear. I'm sorry for not telling you sooner. For everything. I hope you're stronger than I am.
Delphi held out her pinky. Billie gripped it tight, and Delphi screamed. Delphi's eyes welled up.
Oh, fuck! Shit! Sorry!
Delphi slowly pulled her hand back. The pinky was clearly broken as she trembled. She reached down near her side and picked up a knife off the table. She held it out towards Billie.
It's okay.
Billie took the knife. Delphi turned over her arm to expose her forearm. Billie took a deep breath and then took the blade and sliced down Delphi's forearm. Blood started to pour out as Delphi fought back the pain. Billie wasn't sure if she should continue, but then finish the gash. Delphi squirmed on the table. It was awful to witness. But then the blood slowed into an ooze that glowed yellow, like a firefly. The bioluminescence reflected off the tears streaming down Billie's face. Her eyes widened in confusion of what was happening and what she was seeing. Delphi reached up and touched her face. She pushed away the tears and pulled Billie close. Billie leaned towards her as Delphi struggled to sit up a bit. Delphi gave her a soft kiss on the lips, and Billie understood.
Last one.
Delphi leaned back down and unbuttoned the first few buttons of her blouse, exposing a Gordian knot tattoo over her heart. Billie stared down at the tattoo and at the knife.
I told you I'd warn you about the next time.
Billie gripped the knife tight. Delphi was luckily fading fast at this point. It was a lot of pain. But just as the final piece of flesh was sliced, Billie ripped her collar down. A Gordian knot tattoo was now seared over her own heart. It was tender to her touch. She dropped to her knees near the table. This had taken everything out of her. Delphi's lifeless arm hung near her head. The blood still dripped off her broken pinky. Billie was overcome with emotions. She sobbed in this oily dungeon.
And with that, it was done. Don't look. I have an ugly crying face.
She wiped her tears, her face now covered in a mixture of glowing blood and sweat. She rose to her feet and closed Delphi's eyes. Delphi laid on the morgue table, mirroring her husband from a few days earlier. Billie was cleaning her body, prepping it. Val sat nearby.
So, you're the secretary for the monster of death?
Yeah.
Do you think you could get me an interview?
I'm not sure it works like that.
Yeah, you're right, of course. I'm gonna try and take the exam again.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you didn't like what you saw out of the upper levels. I thought you didn't have that kind of evil in you.
Well, maybe I can rise up the ranks and make some changes. Reform some things. Plus, I think I've learned a lot about myself throughout this journey.
Like what?
Well, the premonitions, for one.
Thanks for your help.
Of course. But I'm glad you're not dead.
Me too.
And you're not upset you can still see monsters?
No. I understand their purpose more now. Screw the close talkers, though.
Val smiled and rose to his feet.
I'm gonna go study. Do you want anything? Tea?
Tea is great. We can get Chinese on the way home later. From the other place.
Val smirked and exited. Billie pulled out a wet towel. She cleaned Delphi's legs. She cleaned her feet, which were curled up slightly.
Goodbye, Delphi.
She sewed Delphi's face into a permanent smile. Billie stood outside of a cremation chamber looking at Delphi inside through a small window. Billie pressed a button and the machine...
So now you know the story of the first time I killed someone. The first was certainly the hardest, but it's gotten easier over time. And no, I don't have to walk around in a black robe with a scythe or anything. Oddly enough, it's a fairly mundane process if you don't think about it too much. When the hourglass is full, I touch it and it drains out, and all the deaths for the day are taken care of. It's a little like Santa, but with death. I don't know if I'll ever get totally used to being the leader of monsters or the bringer of annihilation, but at least I don't have to deal with everything that happens after you die.
A smile crept across Billie's face as the flames flickered in her eyes.
But that's another story for another time.